Is football really worth it? No matter what level you play the game, from Pop Warner to high school, then transitioning into the collegiate level, and for lucky or unlucky few, professionally. Men play this sport for different personal rewards. Whether it's for the pure pleasure of playing an active sport, or the reputation that comes with being a football player, or even just to stay fit and make friends that will last a lifetime. But as we learn more and more about the brutality the sport can cause, we are forced to ask and answer the ultimate question: is football worth it? Since the game of football was introduced back in 1869, we have continually used our advancements in technology to learn more about the consequences of playing the dangerously violent game. Over the years, football has overtaken baseball as the role of America's most loved game. It would be a shame, and utter disappointment even, to lose this game. But unless we critique the obvious flaws that lie within it, the decline of football is a real possibility. The main problem football faces today is the risk of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, better known as CTE. CTE is a progressive degenerate disease of the brain found in people with a history of repetitive brain trauma. That's a definition from Boston University. CTE is basically a result of multiple concussions which can occur very often in football. For those of you that aren't that informed on the concussion subject, here's a brief lesson. Your brain is basically a soft, jello-like tissue. It's surrounded, obviously, by your skull, but between your skull and brain is a watery substance, so there's a space in between your brain and your skull. But when you get violently hit, like in football, your brain can literally move inside your head. And this can cause tissues to tear and leak unwanted substances inside the head, inside the skull, where your brain is, and it'll result in cell death. Your brain might also swell during a concussion, and there's not a whole lot of room to expand, and it can cause your brain to press up against the skull, causing even more damage. These damages can lead to short-term symptoms such as memory loss, depression, or even dementia. But with multiple concussions, like football players usually embrace, these symptoms may become long-term or permanent, known as CTE. I'd like to show you the evolution of football's most important piece of equipment, the helmet. As you can see here on ExtremeTeamSports.com, here's a photo of the so-called helmet back in 1903. Could you imagine some of the world's strongest, fastest, and greatest athletes on the planet running full speed at one another with the intent to make a forceful punch just wearing this? I mean, you've got to be kidding me. This is literally a piece of leather. But luckily, we've upgraded and moved to a sort of harness. Then they started making more harder pieces, outside material, as you can see here. And this is an upgrade, but it's still extremely dangerous to run into another human being head first. Finally, in the late 1930s, the face mask was added. This is a huge upgrade for football, for the game of football, protecting the face. And then in the 50s, they actually moved. You can see all of them here. In the 50s, they actually moved to plastic helmets, which is what are still used today. You can see the upgrade all through the years. It's actually quite astonishing what they used to play with. Nowadays, as I said, plastic helmets are still used today, but nowadays the helmets are more flashier like this. They appeal to the fan's eye more, and they also contain like air-like substances within the helmet to help reduce chances of concussions. But as mentioned already, football is facing a fight with the risk of CTE. In 2013, the NFL reached an agreement with ex-players for $765 million. to settle their CTE lawsuit. That's a fact from NFL.com. The players sued the league, accusing it of hiding the dangers the game of football presented, mainly referring to concussions. These retired men are experiencing the effects of CTE, including those listed earlier: memory loss, dementia, and even depression. Approximately 18,000 retired NFL players received compensation for medical exams and further research from the lawsuit. All levels of football, from the NFL down to Pee Wee, must begin protecting their players. And they have. Officials have cracked down on direct hits to the head and penalizing those who violate. High school and collegiate violators face suspensions, and professional players are even being sued thousands of dollars, and rightfully so. Critics of the game complain that this is causing the game to become quote-unquote soft. But this is the only option available. We cannot continue to let our players that we dearly cherish suffer from these traumatic concussive diseases. We are learning more and more about the brain and every impact it takes throughout the course of a football career. As officials, we must protect the players, but as players, we must protect our heads. And again, it leads us to the ultimate question: is football really worth it? Thank you.